Extreme Festival action is proudly brought to you by G&H Transport, Comsol, Autobahn, and Bridgestone Tires. It's Human Rights Day at Zwartkops. Yes, Tuesday, the 21st. Can you believe that? We're racing at Zwartkops, and it's round one of the Extreme Festival. Big crowds coming out on the public holiday to enjoy all the action on track, and we start with the G&H Transport Extreme Supercars. Ferraris, BMWs, Lamborghinis, and Porsches have been the flavor of the week and of the year last year. But at the end of the year, we had a new car that came along, and the McLaren has now joined the party and could be the man to catch this season, particularly when you look at another man coming into the series in an Alfa, Franco Di Matteo. But can anybody catch that incredible Daytona Group machine of Leroy Poulter's? The usual contenders will certainly be looking to get at the front end, and I'm sure there's going to be battles right the way through. Nice to see an opportunity for the crowd to get out there and meet the drivers and get up close and personal with all of our extreme supercars. It's time to go racing though. Let's get them on the line and get them ready to go. Problems right at the start though for the Trans-Africa Racing Silver Dream Racer Ferrari of Jonathan du Toit. He's going to have to start right at the back if he can get that car started. Looks like there's a little boost problem and the pipe has come off the boost there. Let's see whether or not he can get it all sorted out as we go down to the line for the start. It's Poulter who gets the drop on everybody as they cross the line down into turn one. In second place, Scribante closing in on him, and look at the baby beamer of Davy Olivier. Yesterday in the practice sessions went the quickest he's ever been in that car, and it looks like there's going to be a massive BMW battle just behind the lead battle here. We're on board with Olivier as we go through turn three, closing in on the back of Scribante. Scribante's going to have to keep his eyes on those rearview mirrors. Look at that! Already a dive up the inside from Olivier. Nice move there as well. Delay got a great start in the GT. That Ford GT going extremely well. And on his tail comes the battle royal between the BMWs. Heading up to the top of the hill, it was Ricky Giannacaro just ahead of Paul Hill. Kish Patamba in there as well. And look out as they start to make their way through. Just ahead of them is the lone Porsche of Nicky Dix. Nice start from Dalton in the extra shoes BMW. He is right on the tailpiece there of Ricky Giannacaro, but the lead BMW is hassling and looking for a chance to get up there with the front two. Ferrari, BMW, and McLaren, your first three cars across the line. The McLaren leads out though, and is starting to pull a little bit of a margin over Franco Scribante. Scribante, a little twitch into turn one. Just getting that car to settle. Remember, the tires will probably be a little bit cold, and they'll have to wait until they come into their own. Oliver Delay just slightly behind here and sitting in fourth place, but have a look at this. Coming through the field, Tuca Mechanicos, Jimbo Giannacaro in the 430, and just ahead of them there, Franco Di Matteo in the Alfa. We're on board with Tuca as he starts to close in on Di Matteo, looking for a chance to get up there. Just ahead of them is the Hulk and the custom shop BMW of Des Bloom doing a great job to hold off the Deltec Batteries Alfa. I tell you, it's not going to be an easy job to do, but you can see that Des has lost a little bit of ground there to the rest of the BMWs in the background. And right at the back of the field there, the last two Ferraris starting to mix it up. The front Ferrari is definitely starting to mix it up in a big way here. All over the back of this McLaren. Look at how the McLaren pulls though, out of the tight and twisty bits. Just seems to have a handling edge over the Ferrari. They come down to G&H Transport corner, and that G&H Transport baby beamer is all over the back of them. He's not letting the Ferrari or the McLaren get away. Superb drive here from Davy Olivier. Definitely one of the most underrated drivers in this country, and certainly knows what to do when it comes to winning races, particularly here at Zwartkops. They've pulled a little bit of a margin now in the background. You can see, unfortunately, Oliver Delay falling by the wayside. He's actually got away from the BMW battle. Here it is coming into turn two. Kish Patamba sitting in fourth place with Des Bloom. Then it's Di Matteo, then Tuca. And here comes Jimbo on the inside of Tuca Mechanicos looking for a way through on the AMG. Oh, that DTM has been forced to the outside. Here comes Jimbo on his inside. Go, Jimbo. Oh, this is good to see. Trans-Africa Racing Ferrari back in the mix. And looks like Jonathan du Toit is going to try and get up as high as he can as the Porsche pulls into the pit lane. Nicky Dix out there in the curve end Porsche, unfortunately out of the race now. Oh, a big dive on the inside there from Scribante. He had a big look, and I think he's starting to apply a little bit more pressure on that front McLaren. The Daytona Group will be exceptionally happy with the performance of the 650. But I tell you something, Leroy Poulter is a difficult man to pass. If one man's going to try it, it's going to be Scribante. Goes on the inside, dives on the inside. Oh, there's a touch. And there you go, sliding into a little bit of cloud of smoke. The Daytona Group McLaren unfortunately just put on the wayside. And yes, a little bit of rubbing his racing happening out the front end. Some extremely expensive motor cars to be doing it in. That's going to probably be over R1 million as they go in through turn two. Wow, that's a big change up. Look at that. In fact, the change up just behind there as well. Just spotting it on the return. You can see that it's now a BMW ahead of Delay. So Delay has been caught and passed by Adrian Dalton. Dalton doing a great job as Di Matteo, unfortunately, retires the Deltec Batteries Alpha. There you can see also problems for Tuca Mechanicos. Mechanicos has spun out in the last turn. Looks like he might have done that all on his lonesome. Here we see it on board. Yes, just trying a little bit too hard. And well held. Catches it nicely, gets it into neutral, so it does not go. And unfortunately, he has stalled it, so he's going to have to start it up again. Mechanicos, there you can see Leroy Poulter coming through just through his windscreen. Poulter has got going again, which means he's now possibly into the top 10. But with only a couple of corners to go here for Scribante, and probably just to get through on Jimbo Giannaccaro, maybe he'll let Jimbo survive one more corner as they head down towards G&H Transport Corner for the last time. No, he won't. Scribante pulls out on the inside, and he's looking for the checkered flag here. Franco Scribante going to be taking the first victory of the day in the Liquiwali and Scuderia Scribante Ferrari F430 GT3. Second place was extremely close. Davi Olivier just beating Dalton to the line, and Dalton hanging on to beat out Oliver Delay. Ricky Giannaccaro came through for 5, Paul Hill in 6th place with Kish Patambe in 7th, and Poulter eventually up into 8th. We caught up with Scribante to find out what happened down in turn 2.
Down into the hip, and I suppose you could talk about this all day as we were proceeding to do with the clock of the course, whether it was my fault or Leroy's fault. I felt that he left the door open. I took the gap, and he went to the apex, and we collided. To me, it was a racing incident. He didn't seem to think so, but it was one of those 50-50 sort of decisions, so they let it go.
Fortunately they're letting it go, but you can see a couple of guys working frantically to get their cars all sorted out for race number 2 now. It's duct tape and zip ties time, and if you can't fix it with duct tape and zip ties, you're not using enough of them. Here we go, on board and looking back into the eyes of the Trans-Africa Racing Ferrari of Jonathan du Toit. He'll be starting alongside Adrian Dalton, waiting for those lights to come out. Oh, and Poulter was on the inside line there. That's not normally the man who's supposed to be on pole. He should have been on the right-hand side, but looks like they've had a little gentleman's agreement there, and Poulter gets the drop and heads down into turn 1. It looked like from the outside he possibly got a jump start, but that's not the case because they decided they were going to swap things out and allow Poulter to be on pole. So it's Scribante into 2nd place. We're on board here, a little bit further back. This is the baby beamer of Davi Olivier, closing in on the back end of Adrian Dalton. Dalton had a phenomenal race number 1, and he's already hassling the back end of that Trans-Africa Racing Ferrari of Jonathan du Toit. Good to see the Alpha back in it. Good to see Tuka back in it. He's fighting with the 2 Ferraris at the back of the field. The front end is about 2 cars. They're getting away as Jonathan du Toit tries to fend off all the BMWs, and there's a whole batch of them. Paul Hill having an incredible drive in the Calyx BMW, looking for a way through. Oh, nearly got through there. And in fact, a little bit of a twitch coming out of Dalton. That'll be a little chink in the armor they're going to be looking for. So early on and starting to squirrel around, I think Davi Olivier will bide his time and wait for a mistake out of Dalton. Dalton also a seasoned campaigner in saloon cars, so he's not going to be an easy man to beat. Leroy Poulter will try and keep a little bit of a gap and a bit more of a margin, I think, on that Ferrari at the front. He's not going to allow Franco Scribante a sniff on the inside again. We know what happened in race number 1. Oh, Paul Hill running a little wide there, offering up an opportunity for Oliver Delay to come back at him. Delay looking for an early opportunity to get through there. The 2 Ferraris at the back there of Van der Merwe and du Toit fighting hard with Tuka Mechanicos. So the Mercedes-Benz having to fend off the 2 red Ferraris. This Ferrari, unfortunately, is losing ground. Look at Poulter, just opening up a margin. But how's the braking ability of that Ferrari? Franco is so good on the brakes. I know that the Daytona car is running stock standard brakes on that machine, and there's probably a little bit of race brakes on the Ferrari, so that's probably the advantage he's having. But I know that Leroy and the team are looking to upgrade this car, and throughout the season it's just going to get better and better, and that just does not bode well for the Ferrari or anybody else who's going to come and play in the G&H Transport Extreme Supercars this season. Paul Hill still under attack there from Oliver Delay. Delay looking for a way through in the Ford GT. It's a really awesome little car that, and he's still applying pressure down into turn 1. The Calyx BMW holding him off for now. He's lost some ground there to the baby beamer of Olivier and the extra shoes BMW of Adrian Dalton, and it looks like the Mercedes-Benz has also finally found a way through there on Van der Merwe and on Marc du Toit. They're closing in on Jimbo Giannaccaro on the G&H Transport Ferrari, but this Ferrari is still itching for a way through. But Poulter doing a great job here, just maintaining a decent enough margin. Look at that. Fading to the right-hand side, just blocking the line, making Franco have to go around the outside. Franco's not worried about that. He's going to have a go. That is impressive stuff. Franco Scribante driving around the outside of McLaren. You don't see that every single day here in South Africa, but you are going to see it if you come into Extreme Festival from now on. This is the fight for the front. Can you imagine when Engelbrecht and Fenter get you for Kyalami at the next round? It's going to be absolutely insane. Heading down towards turn 1 now. Poulter just hanging on. Can he keep out Scribante? Scribante doing everything he knows in a race car to try and find a way past on this black beauty in front. He goes around the outside of turn 2 this time. Maybe that'll work a bit better. The last time he tried to dive on the inside, unfortunately it ended up in tears there for Poulter, but he came back for an 8th place. 3rd place is still Dutoy. Nice drive from him. Then you got Dalton pulling away now slightly from the baby beamer there. And I don't think Davy Olivier has got enough in hand to maybe close in on him. We saw at the end of the race how Dalton closed and nearly got past him for 2nd and 3rd place. The 2nd and... Oh, the Ferrari slowing, there's a problem. Scribanti pulling to the sideline. That is a massive issue now, so it's literally going to be 1 for 1 here. Scribanti will probably try and nurse that car around and get it as high up as he can in the A+ category, but he's already been caught and about to be passed by the Trans-Africa Racing Ferrari of Dutoy. Dutoy gets through. How many other cars are going to get through on Franco Scribanti? He has to end in about 8th place to keep the points even. Let's see whether or not that's going to happen. He dives into the pit lane. Oh, looks like he's not even going to complete the race. Maybe there's an issue on the car he wants the team to have a look at quickly. That's probably what he's going to do. Scuderia Scribanti will be all over that Ferrari and trying to find out what the issue is, as 2nd place is now taken up by the second 430 on track. It's not the GT3 option, it's just the standard F430. And that little cup car doing a great job in the hands of Jonathan Dutoy to now get up to 2nd place after a dismal start to race number 1. Back into the race comes Scribanti. He's a bit further back than what he'd like, in fact just ahead of Kish Patamba. And Patamba in the BMW might just be able to get through on him. I think Scribanti's just going to stay out there to try and nurse the car to the line. No worries for Poulter in this one. In fact, I think he might have just got past and lapped Franco Scribanti there in the last lap. So down to the line for the final time into GNH Transport Corner and to take another victory for this season. Remember, the first round happening at the International at the beginning of the year. So well done to the Daytona Group and to Poulter for a superb victory. Jonathan Dutoy in 2nd place and Davy Olivier in 4th with a top 3 in A+. Class A was 3rd place Adrian Dalton with DeLay and Paul Hill in 5 and 6. We caught up with Jonathan to find out how the day had gone.
I had a good start, got Adrian Dalton off the start, and I put my head down to try to stay with Leroy and Franco, but unfortunately they had a gap. And just kept my head down, and then I saw towards the end that Adrian was reeling me in, so I had to keep it together. So very happy with the 2nd place.
We also head to the man at top of the podium, Leroy Poulter.
A big mistake in the first one, but we recovered nicely in the second one. It wasn't easy at all. Franco kept me honest all the way. Bad luck at the end. I don't know what happened to him. It's a good win for us.